did know, it can be said that them he foreknew. Are you following me here? When Jesus says on the day of judgment, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. By contrast, the believers he foreknew. By contrast, he foreknew. All believers were foreknown by Christ. Foreknowledge of God is what, like somebody says here, foreknowledge of God is not predestination. No, they're different. They're different. But those who are foreknown by God are predestined. Foreknowledge of God is his love of you beforehand. And as a result of his foreknowledge of you or his forelove of you, that was what warranted your predestination. And then your calling, and then your justification, and so forth. So, when it says that God foreknew you, it means that he set his affection on you beforehand. That's what it means. Whom he foreknew, them he did predestine to be conformed to the image of his son. And that is the truth. And I'm telling you something, that is what people need to hear, don't want to hear, but they need to hear. Because those who are called and those who are elected to salvation, when they hear it at the right time, it will be sweet in their mouth and it will become bitter in the stomach. And when the Bible talks about in Revelation, John eating the scroll from the angel's hand, it says it went into his mouth sweet, but came out into his stomach bitter. It means that the word of God is sweet in the mouth, but it goes down to the belly bitter, because when people take it in, it brings in so much distress and pain and hurt inwardly, because people don't listen to it, don't heed it. So, scary words. Jesus says, let them alone. These are words that we should all pray, that for those who we want to see saved, we should see that these words are never followed through with, that we are to let somebody alone. Now, this verse, when Jesus says to his disciples, regarding the Pharisees and the scribes, when he says to let them alone, this is what you can surmise is happening when you have an opportunity to share the gospel with somebody and you don't. When you refuse to share the gospel with somebody that you know needs to hear it and you want to tell them and you refuse to do it, it may very well be that God has put out the order, that Christ has put out the order for you to let that person alone. Which means that, at least for the moment, you won't be the one sharing with them the gospel. And it's hard to know why these people end up being the way that they are. All I can say is that we all know, because we've been saved and we know what we were before we came to Christ. But let us be those that through the continuance in sharing the gospel, to the best of our ability, let it not be us where it can be said and proven that Christ gave the order to let them alone, if that makes sense. That being said, to all of you, thank you for your kind attention, those of you who remained here. And I hope you had a great, great, great Lord's Day like I did. And may you continue to be provoked and persuaded. And may God bless all of you. Have a great, great night.